as long as you know who you are and where you want to go and where you're headed, and that's all that matters.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unstereotyped Real Life, the podcast where we highlight Latinas pursuing their passions and showing younger generations that they can follow their dreams. My name is Melanie Hernandez, and I am the proud host of this podcast. Now, please welcome today's guest, Amaris Espinoza. So funny.
Thank you for that intro.
Of course. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm so happy you're here.
Yes.
I'm glad we're finally getting to record.
Finally. Yes.
After all that time we spent together.
I know, right?
I know you missed me, right?
I did, girl.
Well, I'm so extra excited today because today's an extra special episode because you are a young Latina who is still in college and actively discovering your career and making connections along the way. And also, up until now, all of my guests have already been in their established careers and jobs, or they're pursuing, one of their dreams or goals that they already had. But I know it's also important to discuss everything that comes before that point, which is just the time spent figuring out your future, discovering what you like, or just what path you want to take, And some people discover their passions through internships, jobs, or just doing research. But the time of your life that you're in right now is extra important. It's not because it's not just because you're uncovering your passions, but also because you're discovering who you are and the type of person you want to be. So that's why I'm happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
Because you get to offer that point of view of a young Latina woman who's making the most out of her experiences and exploring her interests.
Yeah.
So I know the listeners are in for a treat today. And from what I've seen, you're already super involved in a lot of different things apart from school. Can you tell me some of those things?
Yes.
Like your internships and other jobs you hold currently?
Yes, absolutely. So right now I'm currently attending the University of Dallas. So I'm getting my Bachelor of Arts in Business, specifically business. I'm planning to have a more of concentration in marketing. And I have thought about getting my master's, but we're not too sure yet. Just because I'm already graduating early. Predicted next year, we'll see. So
hopefully,
hopefully, but luckily I was able to receive a scholarship, and so it covered all 4 years.
Oh, that's good.
So one more year, I said, you know what, maybe we could use that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah,
use your resources.
Yeah, and so I've gotten really fortunate to be connected with so many amazing, incredible people here in Dallas since like I started my business, which just took off automatically. I think women really championed me and, brought me into the spaces that, I didn't think that was possible to be in. So I really just want to highlight that. And because of that, and I made different connections. And I was able to get an internship with someone that had hired me for my DJ services to DJ. It was like an International Women's Day. And so I had done it for about 3 years now, that event. But before that, I want to say a year ago, last year, after I did the event, that's when I've kind of started to realize that, hey, marketing is something that I'm actually really interested in. I've always been really good with like digital media and things like that, making flyers. And before that, I would do freelancing. Well, I had one client. I wouldn't say like freelancing, but one client specifically.
Hey, it still counts.
It's an organization called She Spins Global. And so basically what that is a female DJ community. We're connected all through Discord. And so we basically invite women like in the industry wanting to get started and just provide a safe space and provide resources, tips, music, all of that. And so I've been able to handle the social media for, I think, about 3 years now. Surprisingly, I freshly out of high school is when I started. So that's when I began to be interested in, social media marketing, things like that. And so when I DJ'd after that event internship, it was when I found my internship for the International Women's Day. I spoke to the owner of that business, and I had no idea, just how like broad and how much, big clients that they had. And so I spoke with her, and she was like, you know what, yeah, absolutely. And it just made completely sense because luckily it was like 5 minutes from my school. And so super close, super convenient. And, I'm required to get 400 hours to graduate with an internship. So that's required from my
That's a
school.
lot of hours.
400 hours, but hey, we're like more than halfway there. So
That's good.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I work with my internship right now is with ISP Creative, and so what they are is a production company. They do a little bit of everything, so anywhere from like digital marketing, social media marketing. They basically handle that for different clients, and so one of the big clients that they have is, for example, Ulta Beauty. So their pro team. They have an educational side of Ulta that they teach other beauty professionals, hair, makeup, and things like that. And so they kind of handle all the production for that. Videography, editing, graphic designing, the events that they have that Ulta throws for like educational purposes. They handle all of that. And so I've been fortunate to be part of that, DJ for them as well, for one of our shoots. And yeah, it's just a lot of connections in that industry. So very, very lucky, and I'm very grateful for
That's
that.
cool. And in that internship, what are some of the things that you do for them?
Yeah, so mainly we have my manager and my boss. They're mainly the producers, so they kind of tell us, hey, what's needed. And so if we have clients coming in like day of shoots, where we have a video coming in to shoot or headshots, anything like that. So I pretty much help with like on-site production. So if there's like behind the scenes camera shooting that we need to capture those moments behind the scenes, I'll, grab one of the cameras, start shooting. And so gaining experience with photography now, that's kind of what I'm like leaning to it's one of like things I'm interested in growing more. And so I did invest in a camera recently. So just a little bit of everything. Video editing, I've done some graphic design work as well using Adobe. Adobe is like pretty much the industry standard, and so utilizing that and understanding how to use all of them from like Illustrator, Photoshop, what is it? The other one, Lightroom. Is that one of them?
Lightroom, yeah.
All of the apps, and so with them, I've been learning those skills that have been really helpful.
That's cool. That's like kind of the perfect, I guess, internship or position to be in
It
as
really
somebody
is.
who's, learning everything in your career. Like, it's really cool that you're able to learn all of those things and not just be stuck doing one thing.
Yeah,
in
for
internship.
sure. And I think that's mainly that's something that really just attracted to me. That job is that they do a lot of different things. So it's not just sticking to one thing. There's different projects, every season, and so it's not going to be sticking to one thing. It's like a normal 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And me as a creative, I'm used to that, and it's kind of what like I feel right in. So yeah.
And it's cool that they found you because of your DJing business.
Yeah.
And what's the name of your business?
So I go by DJ Amaris. That's
Okay.
pretty much,
Okay. And then when did you start doing that?
I started when I was 16 years old.
That's when you first started
Yeah.
the business or DJing in general?
I would say DJing in general.
Okay.
Business-wise, it wasn't until like my second year doing it, getting an LLC and things like that, or getting more professional with like contracts, invoicing. Because before, I wasn't even old enough to create my own invoices, so I couldn't send invoices to my clients. So everything was, just freelancing. So yeah.
Do you remember the first time you were booked?
Yeah, I do. I remember. So before that, I was just DJing like my family parties, backyard parties, things like that.
Okay.
So in 2022, my cousin graduated, and so she had a graduation party. It was like something small, just my family, in our backyard. And I was just starting. I recently got my laptop. My uncle let me borrow a speaker. So I DJ'd that one. That one was for free. I didn't get really paid for that. But someone who saw me there ended up booking me for an event
that's cool.
in the summer for like a bautismo. So that was my first gig, first birthday party / bautismo. Super easy. They had like a banda. So I played, just for the comida before, and left by like, 8, 9 p.m. So it was really easy, but that was my first paid gig.
That's crazy. And then look at all the events you're doing now.
I know. I can't even believe it. Sometimes I don't realize, how quickly it went and just how quickly it grew.
What do you think is one of the coolest or craziest events that you've done that you still think about?
Um, let's see, a couple, but I think one of the big ones, I love working with women. I love DJing for women. Like that's my specialty. Conferences is like how I got started really young doing it, fortunately, and grew that experience. So one year, it was what, 2 years ago or a year ago, I want to say? 2 years ago, Poderistas came to Dallas to have their big conference. So if you don't know Poderistas, they have a really big following on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's Eva Longoria and America Ferrera's like nonprofit-ish. And so they had like some really cool just brands and community like vendors. So I kind of DJ'd the vendor portion, which was my specialty too as well. I started doing vendor markets and built a lot of, connections with like other vendors and entrepreneurs there. So Eva Longoria's, nonprofit Poderista is something that was, I would never forget. And then another one I would say is La Liga. It was a La Liga and the Play app. It was a collaboration event there. So it was kind of my first soccer game type of like events. But they had Rivaldo, which was, he had won the World Cup with Brazil. And so it was like, big soccer player, DJ'd like playing like lots of Brazilian funk because he played with Brazil. And it was just really cool to be a part of that. So
That's cool.
say top two.
And what was the timeline from when you started, I guess officially you started your business to everything that you're doing right now till this point? Like what was the timeline of starting these things?
Oh man, I say as soon as I turned 18, that's when things were like, okay, you know what? I mean, word of mouth, that's how it grew really. And so I was like, okay, well, there was times where it was like hard to keep up and like, I would go to events. I was like, oh shoot, let me check if they paid me full, because I didn't have an invoice or booking system at the time, because you had to be like 18 years old to have your own, And so as soon as I turned 18, I was like, okay, you know what? As soon as I'm turning 18, I'm getting that, getting a booking site, handling my contracts, to be more professional. And that's when it really just like pushed me to, figure out how to, run this business, because it was just lots of inquiries were coming in, and things had to change quickly. It wasn't just like a hobby anymore. It was like an actual business. And so that transition, it was something that, I feel like I wasn't prepared for at all for it, but I feel like I adjusted very quickly, just because I had some, guidance along the way, which thankfully I had a lot of mentors to help me as well. So yeah.
And while doing all of that, you are still attending school. How has that been?
I'm like, I don't even know what to tell you, honestly. But I mean, I've been able to manage. So my first year in college, I did stay on campus, which was, I think it was really, helpful to just separate those two worlds. I could be just a full-time student, focus only on that, and while being in school, living on campus. And then I'd go home for the weekends, and that's when it was just like, okay, events, that's when I was in business mode, you know what I mean? And so managing that, I think is something that, I'm still learning. This semester I decided to take 18 credits. I don't know why I did that,
You wanted to be done already.
Yes, I know. I just, I don't know what's it about me. I always like to like just push it to the edge a little bit more until like I'm drowning. And but I mean, I have gotten a lot of academic success coaches that have helped me. I got diagnosed with ADHD also my first year in college. And so like finding that out, I was like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like, okay, that's me, So getting help for that. I found like mentors that guided me through, just navigating, okay, how, you can organize yourself to set yourself up for success, like making sure those deadlines are turned in. And when I was living on campus, like I think I was adjusting really good, like my second semester, because I would have all my classes pretty much in the morning, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays were kind of like my day offs, or I had like one class in the morning, or it was late actually. So that morning, I would hit the gym, and I would dedicate 1 week, 1 day out of the week, just to like answer emails and focus on like my DJ side of the, my my business. And so I'd make sure to get everything done before like Thursday. Thursday was like my last day because I knew that once I get to Friday, I'm not gonna have
You're
no
out,
time.
yeah.
Like there's no, So that taught me, okay, getting things done ahead of time and making sure, schedule that, and then having the weekends free so I can, just focus on my work. So yeah.
Are you involved in any orgs at school, or is it,
Um,
or you don't really have time for that?
it's been hard. Like I said, when I lived on campus, I was more involved. Now I don't live on campus anymore, sadly. But I was involved with a first generation college student organization at my school, just called First Gen. And so we would meet like weekly basis. We had, kind of mentors to talk to, and it was super helpful. I am so grateful um, that organization, um, you know, is is at my school. That really helped me because that transition from like high school into college, being first gen,
Yeah.
and like I was surrounded with people who already knew what they were doing, and it's like, what am I dumb, or like, that I started
Yeah.
to feel like that. But it really wasn't even that. It's just that, some of these kids that I went to or that I go to school with currently, they have had their siblings, they've had their aunts, they have had legacy, like family type, go to that school. And they all have that guidance. And so me being first, like, it's kind of like you just got to figure it
The
out.
oldest daughter.
Oldest daughter too, and it's sometimes we don't even know how to ask for help either. Um, and so that really was, I think that just built a lot of resiliency, honestly.
Yeah.
Taught me a lot, and now I feel like I'm able to navigate those spaces with more confidence, and even have like enter in those classrooms confidence in what I know and what I can bring to the table. Because let's be honest, not many students in school are working, starting or having a business while studying at the same time. It's like, some luckily,
Yeah.
fortunate for them, they don't have to worry about anything. It's just school.
Yeah.
And for me, I think I feel confident, after graduation that, hey, there's going to be opportunities that come, or even career opportunities that I feel like once you're graduating, it's hard to look if you haven't started, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see how you, as the oldest daughter, you've been able to do so much, and then you think like, or you kind of think back to being an oldest daughter now in our world, how technology is advanced versus being an older daughter back then who doesn't have the same amount of resources, and how they're not able to, they wouldn't be able to get as far as you have. So it's interesting to see that, because those dynamics, I guess, are maybe still the same in the way, you're expected maybe to take more care of your younger siblings or help out your parents more, but in a way, I don't want to say easier, but there are more resources.
We definitely do have more resources. Yeah, I think we've evolved more to like also learn, hey, this is some things that we need to heal, or like it's okay for us to ask for help. There's people willing to help us. We're not alone. And I have seen more of a community with oldest daughters arising on social media, and it's like, oh, I relate to that. You just find comfort in knowing that, hey, you're not alone.
Yeah.
So, and I think before it was hard to see that.
And what made you decide to pursue this degree? I know you talked a little bit about like the marketing aspect. Was all of your experiences, I guess, that you had before the cause to make you want to choose this degree?
Yeah, for sure. I think even since high school, I was, really involved in the community, and I loved supporting small businesses. Like that was kind of my passion that arose from DJing, like vendor markets and meeting other entrepreneurs and businesses. And so it kind of was like, you know what, this space is meant for me as far as like connecting with others, and also even maybe in the future, having the ability to help others, grow their business. And so I think I've always had the spirit of an entrepreneur, business owner. Like even since I was a kid, I was always in, like playing multiple sports at the same time, going from here to here, and it's just, you really do have to have that hustle, because sometimes, I mean, you can't really teach that a lot of the times, so you just have it, you learned it from a young age, or you don't, and it's harder when you're older, for sure. So choosing that degree, I think, my degree is still like a liberal arts, it's a liberal arts college, but focuses on business, and so I still take other classes as well, like literature, math, science, and all of that. And as far as my business degree, I think it's like what maybe like 60 credits out of the 120. And so still a little bit of everything, but business I always knew, just because from a young age I think it was just meant for me. So yeah.
You're gonna start a business of your own or something?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. And I guess as you've been, going to class, taking all these classes so far, how has the stuff that you learned at school helped you and your work outside of school?
Yeah, honestly, I've really, really enjoyed the curriculum and going to school. I think it's just really opened my mind, and I've been able to grow intellectually from learning these different things. And even though there's some other things, they're different subjects, it's always applies to yourself, your future business, whatever your entrepreneur endeavors are. Because I think there has to be like core principles, that you learn from that. It's gonna just build the foundation. And for me, my school's very. I do go to Catholic school, so I really enjoy that. Just because faith to me is important. Because honestly, that's what I run on. It's like you don't know anything what's gonna happen in the future, but if you have faith, like that's just something that I grew up with, and has just been invaluable to my success. I'm sorry, what was the question?
You're good. How your degree and like your classes and what you're studying has helped you outside of school, like your businesses and internships.
Yeah. I've taken a lot of also philosophy classes and things like that, and so what they teach us really is how to be, how to grow in virtue and wisdom, and to me, I think that was something that I didn't expect to actually help me a lot. Is just being grounded, and there's always going to be the chaos around the world, and so knowing who you are is the most important thing. Having just a strong foundation and what you stand for is just gonna have a good foundation for the rest. So I don't know if I answered that completely, but más o menos.
But I kind of wanted to go back. I know we touched on it a little bit about how you've been able to manage both school and out of work / responsibilities. I know you said you try to make sure all your work is done early, but hanging out with you for that weekend, I saw how booked and busy you are.
Oh,
you were like, this is my first gig of the day out of 3. And I was like, oh my God, you're not gonna have time to eat. And so it is pretty insane, but it's good to see, a young people doing that because, nowadays experience really is everything.
It really is everything.
Like, they're not going to hire you if you don't have experience. No. Like, you have to have, 10 years of experience before you graduate college.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're on your way to that.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of experience. And
thank you, yes.
At the same time, I wanted to ask, how do you make sure, since you still are a young person, specifically a woman, it's easier for young women to get taken advantage of as you're trying to work and grow your business? How have you had to deal with anything like that, or how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think now, just from my experience in the beginning, I felt that I always, had to prove myself more, just because in an industry it's filled, with usually older, male-dominated.
Yeah.
So I've been fortunate to find the space She Spins, which now I'm, running their social media. And that community, really taught me since the beginning, like, hey, don't let people take advantage of you. Like, know your worth, and only you know what you bring to the table. So if it makes sense for you, if it doesn't make sense for you, then you're not obligated to, anyone or to do any event, especially, so it has happened a lot where it's like people want to get free service. And honey, now I'm dealing with these back issues. And let me tell you, we don't have time. We do not have time, and we cannot do any freebies unless if it's like, okay, maybe if it makes sense, like if we're doing a trade for business. I've done that before with other small businesses, especially in the beginning. I've helped a lot of businesses. They've helped me out a lot, and so I think that just knowing your worth is super important in the industry. And the way I've handled it is, respectfully, just you can decline, or, say you're busy.
Yeah.
I mean, for me now, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't have time to do anything. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be serious inquiries only,
Yeah.
respectfully so.
But it's cool to see that you've been able to find a community. And I know,
Yeah.
or from what I've seen so far, like the women DJ community is so welcoming and they're very bonded.
Yes.
I just met another girl who's going to be on this podcast. She's also a DJ. Her name's Crystal. I don't know if you know of her, but she was so nice. And she was also telling me about how she's found community within different DJs. And, she's a big advocate for, more female DJs because a lot of these places,
absolutely,
they don't hire women to be DJs. And I'm like, they have the best mixes. Like,
I know, right?
Like all my favorite mixes that I've seen, like, people post clips on TikTok. I'm like, get this woman in the studio, like produce this song or,
Right, yeah.
All my favorite DJs are women, so.
Period.
But while experience is important, it is healthy, obviously, to maintain a balance. Because I know sometimes, even I deal with this myself. We feel like we have to do it all, or we have to say yes to everything, or even when we aren't in the position to say no, or we just want to say that we've done it all, Yeah. I know I kind of have that issue a little bit when I'm writing. My editor will be like, can you write this story? And like, I have 20 other things to prepare or do. And I'm like, yeah, me after this going to write this story. But I'm like,
I relate to you on
I guess it kind of makes sense, Like I do want to do it. And I know I can do it. But at the same time, you got to remember that's not healthy all the time.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a hard thing to navigate, but
so true.
And we're not that far apart in age too.
No,
how old are you? You're 21, 22, 19. Oh, you're 19? Wait. Oh my God, I thought you were way older.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, we're farther apart in age. Oh
yeah,
my God,
we're farther apart.
I didn't know you were 19.
I know.
I thought you
Believe
were like
it
20,
or not.
21. Wait.
No, girl. I know, it's crazy.
So you're a sophomore in...
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm a sophomore. It's my second year in college, but technically a junior because of extra credits from dual credit from
That's why I was a bit confused. I think one of my other friends, I think she knows you. She was like, yeah, she's like 21, 20. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, oh. That's
a
news
lot
to
of
me.
people think
that's
that
news to me. That's crazy.
A lot of people think I'm older, but
you're gonna have like 30 years of experience by the time you're 20, or by the time you're. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I know, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to my next question. How do you explain your identity to someone else in terms of ethnicity or other factors like first-generation student, immigrant, etc., whatever you want to say?
Yeah. So for me, I'm always repping, the fact that I'm Latina. I always like to uplift other Latina women. And I'm very proud of my culture. I'm still very, connected. My grandparents are from Durango, Mexico. And so I've been going with them, every summer. And it's been, man, it's just such a wonderful time there. It just feels like, home. And it's like knowing that, this is where your family, your lineage started. It's something that I carry with me everywhere, and it's something that I always want to honor because, if it weren't for, my grandparents coming here to the U.S., we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have, be where I am today if they didn't take that risk.
Yeah.
And so super proud of, where I come from. And I've always wanted to possibly even, live in Mexico. So hopefully one day we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe become a touring or somewhere in Mexico. So
yeah.
Mexico City or Durango, we'll see. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So I guess since your grandparents came over, then I think that makes you third generation immigrant, right? Yeah.
Third.
Okay. And your parents, do you speak mostly English or Spanish at home, or?
I grew up speaking Spanish because I grew up living with my grandma. And then once my mom, she had me really young, so once we moved out, I went to school. Well, I transferred schools from third, fourth grade, and after that I was just English. So that's when I had to learn more English, and I just picked it up from there. Yeah. So, but before, growing up, I speak mainly Spanish, and I had all my classes from pre-K to second grade or something like that. Third, all in Spanish. So yeah.
Oh, okay. And so how does this identity affect what you're studying in school or why you selected your degree? Did it have any influence on it?
For sure. I think that Uh, specifically in my school, I haven't seen many representation in the alumni and the people that they highlight for businesses or CEOs and things like that. And so I think for me it's really important to you know be in those spaces, not only for yourself but to help other women and make them see that we are meant to be in these spaces, we can be in. And I think now that I've seen women who um, Latina women who own businesses are growing at a faster rate than any other ethnicity group. So knowing like that and how much power we have, it's like we should not be afraid, especially to dominate in those spaces. I go to predominantly white school, believe it or not, even though it's Hispanics. They say it's Hispanic Serving Institute. Um, I've been in projects where it's like I'm the only uh, Latina woman in those projects. And believe it or not, I'm so surprised that some of these my fellow classmates are like, oh well, how do we do this or learn those certain things, and us, we're on it right away.
Yeah.
Like we'll figure it out, do what we got to do, and so it's been interesting to be in those spaces and see like, wow, you know what, like
It's a culture shock.
yeah, it's a culture shock, and not only that, it's like you should be confident in yourself and never doubt yourself because we carry a lot of power. So
That's true. And then how has that same identity influenced the work you do outside of school?
yeah, I think for me is always advocating for uh, Latina minority women. I love working with Latina and minority women outside of school, and I've received a lot of guidance and mentors from many of the women in Dallas who just been really established and know how to navigate in those spaces. So luckily, I've been able to be mentored in that aspect because at first it was very it's very heavy culture shock, and so with knowing them and being able to receive advice, I carry that with me everywhere, and I want to also uplift other women in those spaces too, and that's why I do my involvement with She Spins Global and helping other organizations, like there's Latinas in Progress I was a graduate from, and so anything they always ask me, I'm like, you know what, yes, because this is our future, and we should always be investing in our future.
Yeah.
And recently, I mean, I've been surprisingly getting invited to be speakers to some high schools, which sounds me shocking because I'm like, honey, we're not even that far in age, and I'm like, I'm still getting my degree, But they've always told me, like, you know what, your story was something that I needed to hear and that I resonated with, and so hearing that, it's like, you know what, I'm glad. I want to be that person that you can look at or see, hey, if she can do it, I can do it too, And so I think that's really important for me too.
That's very good. Are there any specific goals you have in mind right now regarding school or work?
Yeah, I do. I want to finish off college strong. I think that's something now I've really just want to focus on. So kind of sacrificing or making those sacrifices as far as taking as much events anymore. I am accomplishing one of my biggest dreams. This summer, I'm studying abroad in Rome, Italy.
Yes. Oh my God.
And so I am excited for that. I hope to, you know, film my journey and show other, or take people along with me. I might start a blog or something and just kind of, take people on my journey with me. That's something I really do want to start doing. And mentoring as well. I've been asked, to mentor other girls to learn how to DJ too. And so in the future, I do want to start doing more, even maybe hosting my own events for younger girls or, who are interested. You don't even have to be younger or older. It's like you could start whenever,
Yeah.
I've seen people start when they're 30s, or even if you look at famous DJs right now who've become like David Guetta, for example. He was an accountant or like that up until his 30s. And when he decided to start living his dream. And I think that's really inspirational. Like, you don't have to be, young or, whatever.
Yeah.
In any age group, you can start whenever to start chasing your dreams. So
That's
yeah.
cool. And that's really cool about you studying abroad.
Yeah,
How did that come
yeah.
about? Like,
So my school is like their main thing is their study abroad program, Rome, because they have their own campus in Rome.
really?
Yeah, around the outskirts of
Oh,
Rome. So
that's actually even cooler.
yeah, so it's not like a collaborative like other
Yeah.
school or university over there in Europe. It's their own university that's over there. So that's mainly what they're known for, and that's like their own
I didn't know that.
main popular study abroad program. So
What will you be studying? Is it related to your
so
degree?
it's not business, but it's part of like just the liberal arts curriculum. They have a core curriculum that we're meant to take those.
Okay.
Yeah, mainly just historical context, which I'm excited. I've like honestly grown to love what I'm studying in history and being able to stand in those presently stand in those spaces where things happened and yeah.
Are you gonna take your DJ setup, your board?
You
You should
know
do like some
what?
pop up out there.
You
Come
know
on.
what? Yeah, I'm in the works of that. So we'll see if we get some opportunities to.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, to do some events over
and
there.
definitely shoot as much content as you can.
I know. Yeah, that content.
That's something that I wish I did when I studied abroad.
Really? Where'd you study?
I studied abroad twice actually. So the first time was in my undergrad. I went to Japan. That was my like dream location. Like I really wanted to go, and it was so much fun. I actually ended up going with my now best friend. We weren't as close
I love
before,
that.
and so I was like, "Wait, you're studying abroad?" And she's like, "Yeah." So it worked out awesome. And then
Awesome.
I did it again for my master's, and then so last summer I went to Spain, and then so we got to go to a bunch of places. It was really cool.
Ooh, I love that.
I got to go to Paris and Morocco. It was awesome. So you should definitely go to a bunch of extra cities.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I need to plan an itinerary.
It'll be really cool. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why do you think it is important for a person with your identity to be studying in school right now, working and gaining experience?
Yeah, I think school is something that I'm a huge advocate for. Not only being fortunate to being first in my college, first in my family to go to college, but being able to receive a scholarship to go. And so that kind of opportunity was like just creating a path for, my younger brothers and the rest of the family. And education is something that no one's going to be able to take away from you, It's something that sticks with you. It's something that you carry on throughout your life. But also, I do understand people who don't feel or resonate with, like a 9-to-5 job or specific career or things like that. Because I do believe that some people are meant to, stick with their passions or pursue their passions, even if it's not like an ideal career or if it's not like seen in the eyes of society as a professional and things like that. And and so, me personally, from starting in high school and leading into college, with pursuing, my passions such as a DJ and entrepreneur, I've met so many connections, and it is a head start, I think, as far as studying and meeting those connections. Because once I graduate, it's like those will already be things that I can, go to or have a network to lean on or see, where I can, what opportunities that come or arise. Yeah. And I've grown a lot of experience just from like, the events that I do and hearing women speak and seeing, what the possibilities are. And right now, like, I've been fortunate to do events of like meeting investors and things like that. So now it's like, I'm at my age right now, getting in contact with investors, wanting to just invest in businesses and lend someone money, right? So now I'm like, well, hey, I know you, you know me now. Once I graduate, if I want to start this business, if, a dream of mine, and having that access to capital, it's like, boom, boom, boom. Those connections are made. And that's like seen as a pathway as to what I can take as soon as I graduate. Or, because I know that logistic-wise and things like that, it can be a lot. And raising capital is something that a lot of us aren't even aware of how, how that can arise and just how, really important it is to build those connections, because it's just going to help you expand your business in the future, And so I don't know. We got a lot of cooking up. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much because right now I'm like, I know I need to chill out. I need to focus on school. But
You can't let them know your next move.
I know you can. You can.
No, but those are really good points that you bring up. And it's cool to see that somebody as young as you and also a Latina is able to do all that and accomplish all that. And
Thank you
then
so much.
turn around and, help out the rest of her
Yes.
community because, there's probably a bunch of other kids that probably are capable of doing the same, but they just
Right.
maybe don't know where to start or they're struggling a little bit. And, maybe seeing an example is what they need.
Absolutely.
And then that's also another point you brought up about I guess another point that I also want to make, I want to highlight you because you are experiencing a lot and doing what you can in your career. But a lot of my guests also haven't been, haven't gotten degrees or, went straight to like chasing their passion. So
Yeah, that's okay.
it's more about, finding everything, finding your own passions, chasing, your dreams and experiencing things. And that doesn't mean it has to be at school.
It really doesn't.
So-
No, yeah. And I do like to, emphasize that because sometimes it's not always, education is not always going to, be a factor into where you want to be. And, that's completely okay. And if you know where you want to go, as long as you know who you are and where you want to go and where you're headed, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. Exactly. And how does all the work you do outside of school connect back to your degree and what you want to do career-wise? Because I know we a little bit before you talked about how it kind of helped you build your social media presence and the marketing and all that. How does it go hand in hand?
Yeah. So right now, for example, I'm taking accounting. And so what I'm learning is, how to manage those, money, what accounts they go into, having it be balanced of the sheets. And so that to me is like even having me like pay attention to my own financials.
Yeah.
In the future, what I gotta like look out for. And so I've been able to, apply that and see like, okay, wait, where is this going? Where am I investing? How much assets do I have as far as equipment, and if things I'm not using, I need to sell it and things like that. It all applies to my own business. And for the future, I hope that maybe if we expand one day, I'll be able to apply that into whatever, what comes up. So like I said, we might be cooking, but can't say too much right now.
We'll see it in the future. You'll just have to follow her.
Yes.
But I did look up just some kind of general statistics about Latinas in higher education.
Yeah.
But more Latinas are earning a bachelor's degree or higher, rising from nearly 1 million in the year 2000 to 3.5 million in 2021. So the proportion of Latina adults holding a bachelor's degree or higher almost quadrupled from 5.4% in 2000 to 20% in 2021.
Wow.
But despite this progress, non-Hispanic women are still more likely than Hispanic women to hold a bachelor's degree. And in fact, the gap between the two groups has widened a bit over the last 2 decades from 16 percentage points in 2003 to 19 points in 2003.
Wow.
So we are growing, but we're still lagging behind other women.
Yeah.
And just some other stats. Latinas are about twice as likely to have a bachelor's degree today as they were in 2003. Hispanic women are more likely than Hispanic men to have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
U.S.-born Latinas are more likely than those born outside of the U.S. to hold a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And more about Latinas in the labor force. Latinas have increased their labor force participation by 5 percentage points from 64% in 2003 to 69% in 2023. Yet Hispanic men, white men, and non-Hispanic women all have higher labor force participation rates than Hispanic women today. So we're still, same thing with the schooling. We've increased in the amount of women that are working, but it's still below the numbers of the rest of the groups. And also Latinas still experience issues with the wage gap that have barely changed since 2003. Back then, a Hispanic woman earned 87 cents for every dollar earned by a Hispanic man at the median, and this ratio has stayed about the same at 85 cents in 2023.
Oh, wow.
And then in 2023, a Hispanic woman has made 77 cents for every dollar earned by a non-Hispanic woman at the median, And also in 2023, a Hispanic woman has earned 62 cents for every dollar earned by a non-Hispanic white man. So these are just some general statistics to help you gauge what Latina women are currently experiencing in America.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do. I don't know if any of these stats resonate with you or how you feel about this information. But it is sad to see. It's good to see that we've grown, but it's sad that we're still falling behind.
Yeah. And to me, I just think that a lot of Latina women, especially like if you look at our culture, we've been always the one put behind men.
Yes.
We're belittled since we're born, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the work, the labor that we do is always put on us. Exactly. So we know how to work hard, but yet again, we still don't know how to advocate for ourselves to reach higher, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that we just need to do better and really, you know, advocate for us and teach other women, like, you know, hey, like if you're not getting paid, you know, this amount of money when you're in the same field as this person, a male, you need to learn how to advocate yourself and not be afraid to ask for more.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that for myself too and other female DJs. These men are asking like insane amount of money just for one gig, and it's like, well, shoot, wait, why can't we do that? Hold on, you know what I mean? Why can't we, you know, same amount of experience, same amount of years. Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also just within our culture, the machismo and the marianismo that upholds these things and keeps women back. And maybe some of these women are at fault for marianismo and like upholding the patriarchy, that they don't realize that their actions, they're not benefiting them in any way, but it's just the traditional way of living and the way we carry these cultures that are keeping us so far behind. Yeah,
and that makes me sad because at the end of the day, it's if you're not seeing that, you know, in reality, it's only going to affect your children, and you know, and it's going to be a pattern that we're never going to break.
Exactly. I was lucky to have a mom that was not with any of that. She was like, no, if I had sons, I would not treat them any different. Like, go clean too. Like, I don't care.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy that she hasn't upholded any of those, you know, stereotypes. So I did get lucky. I know not very many women get lucky with a mom that, you know, views them as equal to their male siblings or anything. I mean, I don't have any male siblings, but yeah. I don't know. Have you experienced any issues with your identity, either in work or school, if you have at all?
I think for me, mostly it's been school, honestly. Anywhere else, you know, Dallas-wise, like our community and the network I have, it's like everybody knows we're all, you know, interconnected in some way, and we like support each other, right? At my school, I faced, you know, some hardships, as you know, with my identity, the way I look. You know, I have red hair, and that's probably what makes you stand out as well. But before I experienced something, I didn't have red hair, and so I was sitting outside of my dorm. And maybe this was a time politically that things were not going good. I sat outside, you know, just to kind of like touch some grass. I needed to. And I was laying down, like my back was facing my backpack, you know, just laying down on my campus, like, right, you know, by the water. It's like, you know, there's a pond, then there's like a bridge area. And so, you know, I just wanted a peaceful moment for myself, and closed my eyes, and a few seconds later, I hear a door close, and I'm like, what the, like, that sounds really close. Then I hear, like, keys or someone walking closer to me, and it's a cop. And I'm like, well, like, I was like, I got up immediately, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir, is there any, like, I'm sorry, did I cause any concern? Like, I'm okay, you know? And then he was like, oh, yes, I'm sorry, we just, you know, we had someone call us and say that you looked, I mean, he didn't even want to tell me, right? But it was just like, I don't even know how. I had a backpack with me. I'm on a college campus.
That's crazy.
So I really don't even know. But after that, I was just like, what in the world? Like, I don't know if they were trying to report me to, you know, ICE or something, or, you know, say that looked like a random person there, you know. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's when I was like, okay, you know what? I gotta be more careful about where I am, because sometimes there's not going to be safe
Yeah.
spaces here. So the main thing is finding your community wherever you go, finding your people, sticking together, supporting each other. And that's what's got me to, where I am, or
Yeah.
been able to help me navigate. So, yeah.
And that's scary too, because no matter how much you found your community, you might always just end up in a space where you're not welcomed.
For sure.
And so it is really just about learning how to deal with
Yeah,
that.
it
Not
is.
not accept it, but just be
Yeah.
able to advocate for yourself
Right.
and not let
Yeah.
it get
Oh,
to
yeah.
you.
And now I tell all the students, like upcoming freshmen, Latina women, Hispanic students there, I'm like, hey, don't be afraid. Because after that, I went to go talk to someone and, I got an apology, a formal apology from like the president and say,
At
you know what?
least.
Yeah. And I'm
Dang.
glad I did that because
Yeah.
now you know, we have to also hold them accountable or, tell people like, hey, this is not okay. And if there's any, things like that happening where, we're based off where you look or anything, um, we have to let them know. And we just need to keep doing that, pushing and pushing it. Because if we stay silent, like it's not going to do anything. It's not going to help any of us and the future students who are coming. So I always tell the students, hey, don't be afraid. Like if there's anything, hey, you call me.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure
That's good that you're.
we'll take it to the president or something
Yeah.
because yeah.
That's good that you're telling them that because I wish I went to, well, my city is predominantly white. So there's a lot of things and racism that I experienced in high school that I think back and I'm like, I wish I would have said something. And like you think back to it and it just hurts your heart a little bit, but you know that.
It does, yeah.
But, like if it happened again, you'd be able to, fend for yourself. That's why I'm glad that I go to UNT because it's just so diverse. And it is also a Hispanic Serving Institute. And I think we have a large population of undocumented students as well. So it's just very diverse in that aspect. And so that's why I'm happy that like all of my friends are diverse. I feel like I've always thrived in that type of environment, like not just Latino or not just something else, like a mix of everybody.
Absolutely.
Like even
it's
in
the
high
real
school.
world. It's reality.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm glad that we found our own communities.
I know,
and
yeah.
we've been
And
able
I'm
to-
working on it. I know I want to do more for my school and just the Latino students there because it sucks, Like in high school, man, we had African American awareness, we had Latinos Unidos, we had, all our own cultural clubs where we could, and it was welcome to everybody, right? But we just celebrated our culture within that club and we did things for our community that, supported people in our communities and everywhere in Dallas. And so when I got there, I was just like, what the heck, man? Like, you're telling me we don't have like a Latino like organization? And so that's one of actually the things I've been wanting to do is start that, and
you definitely can.
and I'm honestly like I've grown to be like not afraid of anything. Like after facing that, like I'm not afraid of anything to speak up or tell people like, hey, that wasn't okay, or even in my classes, like if there's something that's like, know. And knowing that we're the majority. We are no longer minority. And I tell people now like
They don't want to admit it though.
they don't want to admit it though. They call us minority or even saying that. It's just like the truth is we're not. We're most fastest growing ethnicity, and by 2040, it's like we're gonna be the majority. So it's like why not start acting like it?
Yeah.
Not letting anybody put you down. Just because you're Hispanic, Latino, or what's going on politically. It's like none of that should be a concern, and just do what you got to do. Speak up and fight because that's the only way we'll see.
I think
an
we
impact.
also. I think we also. It also needs to be from a. It needs to be that initiative is good. Like we need to take charge and voice ourselves as a majority. I feel like that has to be initiated by the Latinos who were born here or who have citizenship because. Since we already have that privilege, we'll be able to drive it forward quicker for the ones who are undocumented or who don't have citizenship. So I feel like it's also our responsibility to speak louder than them, because a lot of them are obviously not in the conditions to leave the house or speak out for themselves. So
and that's why I'm such a big advocate, and that's why I think like now I feel empowered going to school and knowing that I'm getting an education at a place where hey, sometimes I might not be welcomed, but you know what? Look what I did. Look what I'm doing. Things like that.
Take up space.
Take up space, yes. And I think that's why it's so important for us to be involved in those, higher education, just to be in those spaces.
Yeah.
so we can pull each other, you know?
Exactly. With everything that you're doing, I know you're still very young, so you're still going through school and all that. But
Yeah.
have your parents supported you this far?
Oh, absolutely. My parents, they gifted me my first DJ board for Christmas. And they didn't know what they were starting. Now they're like, oh, shoot, we started that. They can't say
Yeah.
anything as far as how crazy I am as, being so busy all the time. But yeah, no, they've been very supportive. I'm very grateful for them. And um, it's sad to say that sometimes, I'm miss out on a lot, family events, those, type of sacrifices that I have to make just because of, the events I'm doing and just trying to build myself up. But I always tell them, you know what, when I'm older, they're going to be taken care of. Like, I have no doubt about it. I do definitely want to give, back my parents everything that they poured into me because I feel like, they really did pour in a lot. And so I think it's an investment,
Yeah.
So I always tell them, like, y'all are going to be taken care of. And I help them, what I can. I know sometimes it's hard for me just because of how much I'm juggling, like household things and chores. I know I try my best, and I know I probably lack in that aspect, but they've kind of anchored me and have just supported me and carry that. And so super grateful. My parents just, they've been super supportive ever since I was in high school. Like, girl, sometimes I had to leave school early, like at 3, because I had a wedding on a Friday that started at 4 p.m. Yeah. And I missed prom, and they were like, well, if you want to, what do you need from us? Need help with. If there's things that they see that I am lacking, like my mom, she'll give me she'll pack me like a water jug, or she's bought in like a wagon for me to carry, so I don't have too much on much on my back. So just the little things that really matter the most.
That's
yeah.
nice. And what pressures do you feel as a daughter, and having to pursue your career and know what you're doing, or oldest daughter, you probably carry more pressures as well.
Yeah, man. I think it's sometimes you get guilt. You feel a lot of guilt just because you're the oldest, and so it's kind of like, well, I should be helping my family. I should be taking care of my brothers, and I know, and I have. It's just when those times come and I can't. My parents are going out of town or something, and it's like, oh, now we got to figure out who's gonna take care of my brothers. I do feel that guilt a lot of the time because um, I do want to be there for them, but also it's like, hey, I'm doing this for them too. I want them to see like that there's no limits, and they can go as far, more than me. I want them to do better than me. I want them, to strive like more, and that's, to me, I think why is my why, and the reason why I do it is that, I have younger siblings that are looking up to me, and so, yeah.
It's good that they're understanding in that aspect, because they could be the type of parents to be like, no, cancel that gig. Like, you have to take care of them. There's somebody going through that right now. So it's good
true.
that they're still supportive, and they understand how much it means to you. And when things get tough at school or work or personal life, what keeps you going? How do you mentally and physically de-stress in order to prepare yourself to keep moving forward?
Yeah, therapy has been super helpful for me. I mean, I've been going for, since a young age, so just having that experience in therapy and for many years, I think, helped me navigate to when sometimes those things get hard. And sometimes they get really hard, really, really badly, and it's like, yeah, I need that help. And every single time I go, it's, just seeing a professional who knows what they're doing, it's priceless, and so, for example, like if I'm at school, I'll sometimes schedule appointments with, certain success coaches or even therapists. Um, and it kind of just helps you unravel everything that's going on. So, because I know in your brain it feels overwhelming, it feels like you can't. But once you like start unraveling everything, taking things one by one, that's when things start to like kind of settle. And so I'm practicing more mindfulness. That's something that I learned. And so just, trying to take things a lot slower, because I notice also when you're working so much, we're not in our feminine energy. We're in our masculine, right? Working all the time, doing things like that. In reality, and, being in our feminine, we're able to attract those things naturally. So I'm starting to learn more of that because I'm taking, less gigs, but I'm getting bigger opportunities now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that, we're still learning and navigating, but it's just practicing mindfulness, being, more gentle with myself. I get massages now. Like every month I see acupuncture doctors and things like that. So taking care of my body has to be a priority for me now because I know I'm super young, but like we're starting to see, the labor effects.
Yeah. And with everything, do you struggle with mental health at all?
Yes, I have. Growing up, I think it was more harder for me, but I think that's what really just pushed me to mature more and just, honestly start doing what I'm doing now it's really what helped me because um, I think before I didn't really, I think I struggled a lot emotionally and feeling like I didn't, have a sense of identity because I grew up with my parents separated. And so that early childhood affected me a lot. And there was sort of like uh, a loss of identity there just from the switch of between two different homes. So you're having to adjust to your environment or, sometimes even cater to your parents or even me right now. I feel like sometimes I'm giving my parents advice or, helping them learn, make certain decisions that I'm like, well, why am I making these decisions right now? And so it just really helped me. It just pushed me to mature and really focus on the future. Because, I mean, yes, it's important to live in the present, but when you're a kid and you feel helpless in those type of spaces or in that mentality with your mental health, it feels like sometimes you can't or go anywhere and that you're stuck in that place. But the truth is, it's not. It's temporary. It's okay to not be okay. I think that's really important, and that you know you can pull yourself out by just really understanding that there's more outside in the world, rather than what you're going through. And so that's what really helped me, and I think that's why I've been so ambitious, just because I'm doing it for my younger child also, and making her proud, because I think that's most important too. So
That's good that you're able to pull yourself out of that.
yeah, thank you.
And can you tell me more about your weekly schedule and what it looks like?
Yes. So usually Saturdays are all booked, and I'm booked every Saturday up until I leave to study abroad, which is like in a month, I think now, month and 5 days, the countdown is. Um, and Sundays, I am, strictly making those rest days now. Like I said, I'm leaning back from taking as much events. And so Saturdays, usually my fully booked days, sometimes two events, one in the morning and the afternoon, or, just one in the afternoon. And Fridays for me, honestly, sometimes I'll have an event, sometimes I won't. But now, either if I'm not spending time with family or doing homework, mainly just, going to events or where I can like learn more, or use those time for, just to gain more knowledge in any aspect. So
When are your classes?
so my classes, I go every day from like 9 a.m. to noon. So
Every day?
yeah.
Oh my God.
So Tuesdays and Thursdays,
I
I get
guess you
out
are
at,
taking 18 credits, right?
yeah.
That's a lot.
I ended up having to drop one actually
Oh.
because it was just a lot. So it's kind of technically 16.
Okay.
I have like a 2 credit course. So
Okay.
so yeah.
And then for how much time does your internships and the other stuff take up?
So right now I've been going Mondays, Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays and Fridays. They're super flexible, honestly. I'm really grateful for them because they're not as strict with me, and they know that, I have a lot going on, but they always like to make sure that I'm, stay on top of school. They want me to be, prioritize school. So usually I try to go from like after school, as soon as I get out, noon to 4 p.m. or, noon to 3, depending on that. And then sometimes after 4 p.m. I'll go back to school, just do study or homework, or I'll go home and, do homework there or go to the gym. And so, that's kind of my schedule.
And then every Tuesday you're at KN.
Tuesdays I have the radio, so.
Well, I actually got to shadow you.
You did.
While you did some of your work stuff, and I did
Yeah.
document a lot of stuff from that day. I had a lot of content that I want to share with you
Oh my gosh.
for the segment that I call Day in the Work Life. But for today, it's Week in the Work Life since it was multiple days. My bad. Okay, so let's take a look.
Okay, I'm excited.
Ready?
I need a K and a one.
Yeah. I like your drops, man. They're good. Like it. For the radio station.
Yeah. That's one.
Mike.
I hope you guys have your cafecito ready. Bye, guys. Wow, I love that. You did so good. Thank
you. Do you remember this week?
Oh,
what was going on?
It was, honestly, I don't even remember. I was just on the go.
That wasn't even like, there were still events missing that I didn't even go to for that Saturday.
Yeah, because there was, that was a fully booked week. That was probably, After that, I was like, okay, no more. Let me chill out.
So the first part of that video was your KNON.
Yeah.
You do your segment there with two other DJs, right?
Yes.
What are the names again?
So it's DJ James Corona, DJ Franco, and DJ AV. He's usually there, but he just had a baby, so he's like maternity leave.
And then you do your cafecito con Amaris.
Yes, I do.
You talk about a little bit of cheese man. I remember you talking about Punch the Monkey and his girlfriend.
I did, yes.
That was funny. I was like, this is so random. It was funny. And then the second event was the Sorry Papi tour at Club Vivo. That was really cool. I think you said that was like one of your first time doing like an event on that scale, like a party event, right?
Yes, like a concert type of thing, especially, at a club. That was my first time doing that, and it was super fun. So
and then
I'm glad we got to bring you.
Yeah, that was actually so much fun. Everybody was really nice.
Yeah, they really were.
And then the last event was Latina Pilates Club. You were DJing one of their events, and that was really cool to see. You were the vibe curator, basically, for the whole day.
We were, yeah.
But what do you think, seeing your week put together like this?
What do I think? Honestly, just years of work, of pushing myself and improving myself. And I think now it's come to a point where, like, you know what, I've kind of built that, and people don't have to, ask me, or they don't ask me anymore. And it's kind of like shocking to me, because I feel like for so long I was just the grind don't stop, and I was just focused on that and the music and creating, experiences for people. And now it's beautiful to see that grow, and the opportunities and the people I get to work with in organizations or businesses. And so, it's kind of just a reminder of, how far we've gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what, out of all the work that you do currently, what is your main interest, you would say, out of all of them? Do you like the DJ stuff? It's like at the top of your list of like what you like to do?
Honestly, yes. I thrive, I thrive DJing. I thrive in the space, and the events that I do. So I guess, that would be my number one. But it's hard to say, we don't ever know what's gonna come or rise.
I mean, you're only...
I know.
You're not even 20 yet, so you might discover something new.
Yeah.
But do you think you'd want to DJ forever?
I think for me, music is always going to be part of me. So whether I'm, DJing live in front of people, whether I'm not, I think I am going to be a DJ forever. But like I said, in the future, it's not necessarily going to be, playing in front of parties. Maybe, maybe when I retire, I'm not going to be as,
Yeah.
out there, outside. But forever, I think for me, that's something that I'm going to be doing forever. Like, I know even if I'm a grandma or like an old lady, I'm going to have my vinyl decks, I'm going to have a bunch of catalog or, just whatever it is. I think that's something that I just want to carry with me for as long as I can live.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a true music lover, and that's really why I started it. So.
And is there something that you aspire to be or do in the future, like, for sure that you want to do or accomplish it? Like for me, for example, I know that I really want to write a book. Like that's one of my, like, I'm going to do that. Do you have anything?
Yes, I have thought about that. Coming out with a book of just my journey as a young entrepreneur, right? But I think one of the things that has been on my mind is to go to law school. It is something I'm not sure if I'll take the steps, to go right after I get my bachelor's, but it is something that just has constantly lingered. And maybe when I'm older, I always like to see like the women who have just done it, did everything, their careers, and now they're serving in office. And I think that's something that's super inspirational to me. Linda Garcia and Victoria Nieves-Criade has been one of my they both served in the Texas State of Representatives, and I've seen their stories, and I've been able to speak with them, and I've been able to, share, the issues that I've seen or experienced myself, like going, in those predominantly white spaces or in college, I'm sorry, but in high school I was, president of Latinos Unidos, and I brought Victoria Nieves-Criada. She helped this woman called, and she started the Linda B. Masters Act. And basically what that was is it helped sexual assault survivors make sure that their case gets seen between a span of, I think, 20 days. So their case is not allowed to sit on the shelves before if they didn't find, evidence or things like that, if they didn't, have enough, workers or so, whatever, to really go into those investigations, they would sit on a shelf for many years. And I brought her to my high school, and so I've always been really interested in serving in the office maybe one day, or even if it's not an office, maybe it's some type of board for a nonprofit. I think that for me, I've always wanted to be, or just serve and give back to the community in that aspect. So yeah.
And that's the beauty of being young, you can do everything. I like that. If you could send a message to your younger self right now, what would you say?
I've always loved this question, but I've thinking about it for myself. I think the most important thing is, just really tap in to who you are, find that power within yourself. It's not something that you have to search for, right? Or, find out inside in the world. It's that, reflecting upon yourself and having that faith in God. To me, that's always been since I grew up, and really lean into that, but also know who you are, be confident in who you are, and just trust that you know what you're doing, because everything's gonna fall in place. I'm a true believer in that. Everything that's meant for you will come. Everything that's not, if it's not meant for you, then it was only there to teach a lesson or whatever that is. But I think for me, most importantly, it's just really just being confident in yourself and who you are. And being an oldest daughter, I was always trying to be overachiever and things like that. And I think now that's I know why I did that, because there was just a lot of, proving to do. But now it's there's no need for that. You can really find power within yourself. And so.
And what advice can you give other young Latinas trying to discover their passions or, get involved with different things?
Yeah. Try it all. Honestly, don't be afraid to start something. Don't be afraid to start a project or a hobby. See if it works, see if it doesn't. If you don't like it, that's fine. You're not obligated to, do it, of course. But, just expand your horizon, not just stick to one theme, because sometimes in the long run that may not work out, and that's okay. But I think learning how to pivot is just going to be essential, because you're going to do great no matter what and wherever you go. So don't limit yourself. Whatever, you decide to do, it's going to come along the way. But I think, never be afraid to take those risks. So, yeah.
And I know you just mentioned 2 women. Would you say that those are people that you are most influenced by or you look up to the most? Or are there other people that?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I've always been told, have a female mentor for your, success in spaces that you want to be in, right? But then also having a male mentor to really show, like, they have a different aspect as far as their hustle. And I feel like I've been able to pull from both sides. So that, to me, women have always been in my life and I've always looked up to them. But, I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's something that if I saw a man, I guess, right? No, but I have a male mentors and they've helped me a lot and really just championed me. And, there's just more of a strength and empowering that comes from it. And women will always be there. And they've always been a part of my journey. But I think everybody has something valuable that they can teach you and that you may not know. So
exactly. And that's also, usually I would have this segment towards the end of the podcast, labeled Women Before Us, where I highlight a notable woman in the same career as a guest.
Yeah, I love that. I've seen that you did that.
Yeah, and then so I decided to not have it for this one just because I think for young women who are still figuring out their path, it's every woman should be someone that you look up to. Every woman who's following their passions or, in their career. Like you said, there's something in everyone's career paths or interests that you can learn from, regardless of whether it's directly connected to what you do.
Right, yeah.
And then I know for me, every single woman that I've had on this podcast or that I'm friends with have inspired me to do more and do what I love. Like, you inspire me a lot, too.
Oh,
and I'm older than you, but that doesn't matter, you know?
No,
So
you're inspiring as well. And that's one thing that I was like, automatically, this connection was just like, yes, because I found out you're doing your master's and like, me still getting my bachelor's degree, but that's something that's, maybe down the line.
Yeah, you can always get inspiration from anybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you should definitely get your master's.
Yes.
There's only 8% of Latinas.
I know not. Definitely know. But it was something that's like bachelor's degree going into law school or,
Oh, yeah.
So that's the only thing.
Oh, law school, too. We're barely over there, too, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm already graduating early, so I think that's already going to be, taking that 1 year to do that master's.
I mean, just be grossly overeducated, you know?
Oh, man, yeah. Trust me. That's the goal.
You can do it.
I definitely do.
Yeah. And what do you want your legacy to be in the end?
My legacy, it's funny. In my high school, what's it called? Yearbook, like, the quote that you put beside your picture. Anyways, you choose a quote, right?
Yeah.
For your senior pictures, and I put building a legacy, or something like that. And I think that's something that I always thought about, is that, what do I want to leave, or what is something I want to leave to this world that will, eventually help other people. And I think that, to me, is just, never being afraid to do anything, take risk, and hopefully one day just, build spaces and build rooms where we can really see an impact in our future generations. And so I don't really know what that is, but I do want to, just help women see themselves in just so many different things, whether it's career-wise, hobby-wise, me DJing-wise, in the music industry, whatever it is. I want to leave that. I want to leave a legacy that's can be remembered for, truly making an impact in our communities. Whether you're going to school, doing this and that, just having that involvement for me is, I think, super important. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's not a directness yet, but I think that we're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, you still got so much time to even get to that point.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. I know we got a long way to go. So.
But finally, why do you think it's important to follow your passions and do something you love?
I think each and every one of us, we come into this world with something, to give, right? We're meant to be here for a reason. And so whatever it is, you know, it's just following your heart. I think it's it's where you're meant to be. It's what you're meant to do, um, because that's gonna make you live a life of fulfillment, you know, and that's how you know it's your purpose when you feel fulfilled and happy what you're doing. Um, and so it's important because, you know, it's important to be authentic, right, to who you are. And at the core of that, and knowing who you are, it's always going to lead you into, you know, who you're meant to be. And I think we're born with that. Sometimes we just get layered with, you know, trauma or just experiences that kind of just kind of take us away from that. And for me, it's always been, you know, coming back to that and healing those parts of myself that, you know, I didn't know I needed to. And getting closer to my purpose and what I'm here for. So.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I feel like once we get through that healing is when we can, you know, reach our fullest potential.
Absolutely.
So that's very important.
Yes.
But just to wrap things up, is there something that you would like to add or say that I didn't get to ask you today?
Let's see.
You can plug yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if there's any women, you know, who wanted to get started in DJing, whether it's a hobby or, you know, whether you want to take it, you know, to the side hustle, it's never too late. I've had, you know, women reach out to me and they're like in their 50s, you know, saying, hey, I've always wanted to learn. Could you help me? And so I'm like, absolutely. You know, I've been champion for so long, or, you know, just been able to get as far because of people that have helped me along the way. And so I think now for me, I want to, you know, get back and really pour that into other women, younger women, or all ages. So please reach out to me. You guys can follow me at DJ Amaris Music. That's DJ AMARIS Music on all social media platforms. And also tune in let's see whatever, how my radio career goes. So I think that's also something that's another path, and really just making your voice be heard. So,
well, thank you so much. I'm
you,
so
Melanie.
happy. I had so much fun today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks. And then definitely tune in to her socials, because I think by the time this episode's uploaded, you'll be in Italy. So go check out her content. It'll probably be it'll be up by then. Probably. But thank you so much for giving this podcast a chance to the listeners. I hope you guys learned something new from Amaris, or maybe gained some inspiration to pursue your own passions. Please subscribe to this channel and make sure you don't miss any future episodes. And I will link all my social media in the description so you can catch highlights from this episode, as well as teasers for the next guest. We have another amazing woman ready to tell her story. So until next time, and remember, these are the real lives of real people who deserve to be unstereotyped. Bye.
Bye.